Hi, and welcome to A Sheep Staring at Me playing D&D. Bonus two or second installment of Lucienne's travels story. Whatever.
B2.
Yay. Oh dear. I have the extreme feeling that ADHD is in both cases, in my case and in Clara's case, gonna be a problem today.
Excuse you,
It is.
I will not be a problem. I will be a menace to society, please.
So a problem to me. Okay, cool.
I needed all the
Great.
mental strength to not say B2 or not B2. So, yeah,
Yes, that.
I will not apologize.
I might at some point, but yeah, basically, also, uh, when is this going to be out? So on the 29th, if you're watching this, it's the 29th of December. So hope you had a good Christmas. For us, that's still like 10 days out, but yeah, woohoo. Um, so recap what happened last time. What did happen last time? Holy moly. Um,
I woke up, I looked out a window, I went down the stairs. I talked to a tiefling woman whose name I've
oh, she was
forgotten.
a tiefling. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Gawain. She was called
exactly.
Gawain.
I
I
went to a
completely
harbor,
forgot she was a tiefling. But
talked
yeah.
to a dwarf. I was found at a pier, sleeping. I
Yeah.
talked to some guards. I was taken to a house. I regained memories.
Yeah. And we're in the city called Wagner, which is at the Silver Coast at in the very east of the continent of Tiarlan or Hjörlan. Um, Yeah, so it's directly at the ocean, but also it's the mouth of a river that is going into the continent. And the city, Wagner, kind of sits to both sides of the river towards the sea, which means that, you know, both sides have harbors, different kinds. And the slightly upper town, um, as we found out last time, is the place where the elves live, and everybody else lives in the lower town, which, well, which is also a reason why people in the lower town, when they found you, were slightly freaked out because you're an elf. So, whoops. Yeah. And I think we're gonna start in the upper town. Um, and I think Lucienne, after having awoken again and realized that, yeah, if you try to get to the memories, that's probably going to happen now. They're not behind, behind lock anymore. Um, but you've got things to do. You've got places to be. You've got people to talk to. So as we meet you, I think you're walking um through the upper town of Wagner. Um, I don't know if you're on your own, but and where exactly you're going. Where exactly would you be going? What do you think?
So, what's my mission here?
Um, I
Mm.
think mostly your mission is you still don't know how you got here. Um, also, um, you don't have a mission, basically. You
Yeah.
don't know how you got here, but what you are a cleric. So there might be something deeper to that. Who knows? Okay.
I'm allergic to no missions.
Well, well, you could go and find one. Um, or you could try and
Knowing
find
me,
further
one will
info.
find me.
You mean knowing me?
Knowing us. Knowing me, knowing you.
Oh, God. I should say gods, but yeah. Uh,
Yeah, alas, I don't know how I ended up here. Mm, is there a chance that some people at this harbor will know what happened on the other harbor where I was found?
I don't think so. No. Um, you could, hmm, you could give me a perception or in no perception or history check if you want.
Let's say history.
Yeah.
10.
10. Well, you would know that most of the actual like jobs, like the actual business, is happening through the lower town. So if there's anything, that where anybody has to work for it, that's going to be in the lower town because the upper town, the people who are working don't, it doesn't seem like they're actually working. It doesn't look like anybody's like a working person. Um,
Mhm.
if they're working, they're like honor bound or they're around for society or whatever. It's very much a upper society, lower society thing. And so you could assume that, the harbor here is either just cafes and stuff like that, or passenger ships. But you didn't arrive on a passenger ship, so
And that dwarf captain whose name I've forgotten. Um,
Red Rundle.
yes, that one. He told me that the the ruler, I've forgotten her title, might know
Ben
more.
the Benevola or her
Oh
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly easy to get into palaces and stuff.
Yeah. But
Mm,
okay, this is a weird decision because hmm, do, 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 do. Give me an insight check on yourself, please. That makes total sense.
19.
You're a noble.
Mm.
Do with that what you wish. But
Actually, it was 23.
you're
I'm still a
noble and you
noble.
would and you would know, you've got the training, you've got the education, you've got the bearing, and you've also got the connections in the city. So apparently, um, you could assume, and I think as a noble, you would assume that they let you in
That's
if
good.
you wanted to go
That's
there.
yes.
But also, because it's a 23, that gives more than just one info. You're not just a noble, you're a cleric.
Hmm.
You could just also, if you don't want to deal with like politicians and weird people, you could just go and deal with a priest, a priestess, some sort of person of some faith.
Or both in some order.
That is also both possible.
I want to seek out the priests first.
Okay. Um, how do you want to do that? Do you just want to ask around and find your way wherever? Or
Mm, yeah.
okay.
And if there's a
Uh,
temple, then I want to look for that.
okay. So there would be, around there would be just generally banners and signs outside of houses, but also signs pointing in directions. And you would also, I think, know that a sign to the temple doesn't necessarily have to say temple,
Mm.
but and maybe they're not putting up a sign to the temple, but Um, so how about you give me investigation, um, religion, or survival? You can pick. It'll give you something different depending on what you pick, but
I'm gonna go with survival. 21.
yeah, I mean, you've kind of figured out you were in the lower city, and in the lower city, everything's more crammed, more packed, more people, more things, more houses, more everything, more smells, more everything, really. Um, but you figured out that in the lower city, there's a certain logic to it, even though it is crammed. But there were, chapels and things around to different deities. And just walking around, you notice, well, it's less crammed. People are different, but the same logic applies to the upper city. So just by following sort of that logic of, okay, so this is a smith's shop, so there might be something to castle about, the dwarven god. Um, People don't necessarily have to be dwarven to follow a god that's a smith. Um, and just looking around, you see that there's a bunch of buildings that look like they store grain and things like that. So this is a bit higher up. This is not very near to the harbor, so it's not necessarily prone to, you know, floodings,
Mm.
which is ideal if you want to store grains, for example. And you would also know if there's any kind of grains or anything like that, some temple or something to Morty might be nearby. And also knowing your gods, you don't follow Morty, but she's not necessarily a goddess that is hates your god as, you know,
Mm.
it's you know, if you went to Castle or maybe Gory, or those temples, they might give you a hard time or even be kind of offensive, but with Morty you have good chances, so you could try and go there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Just notice that was a lot of random god info dumping. It's
Well,
gonna
but
get
seeing
worse.
as how that guard who, you know, was my brother's best friend, that one, how he reacted when I said which god I follow. I don't want to really tell everyone whom I follow. So
Well, yeah. If Are you wondering about that or thinking about that?
I am, yeah.
Do you want to do a religion check to kind of figure out, was there anything I missed?
Yes, I do. 16.
So you would know, um, there's been some, well, let's call it problems lately, um, because the followers of Gori or Pala'a have been becoming kind of problematic, and they're mostly men. They don't want women to, be priests or priestesses. They pretty much, well, want a certain kind of order in the world, and they're trying to, you know, push that through with force and with kind of just manipulating everyone however they can. Um, it's not necessarily a problem yet, but it's been heard of that if people, especially who follow Skapandi, your god as kind of a gender fluid mess, basically, um, especially people who follow them have been mocked, attacked, depending on where they were, um, because, well, there isn't a there isn't a war god, but Gori's followers kind of try to build him up as one. And most people don't like it. A lot of people try to go against it, but, well, there's no rules for that sort of thing.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, I won't want to boast about following Scapandi, but I want to check out a temple of that. What was her name? The grain one.
Morty.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, Morty. I've got the original, like, handwritten notes just hanging here. So it's like, yeah. Okay. So you just walk up to the temple, I assume, throw away the cat, and oh dear. Um, and yeah, do you just walk in? Do you try to get a lay of the land first, or what do you do?
I try to get a lay of the land first. I try to ascertain how the atmosphere is, how many people are there, what they look like.
Um, okay. So you're looking for people specifically.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't actually think there is any people outside,
Okay.
and I don't think you could look inside very well. Um, but yeah, it seems peaceful. It doesn't seem like anybody's getting up to anything weird or anything like that. But also the upper city seems to be incredibly peaceful anyways. So, you know,
Yeah.
perks of being rich.
Mm. I'll walk in then.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna let you do some thinking work. How would you think does the temple of a goddess who's like for weather and for, you know, grain and for all of that, you know, how do you think would it look? How would it be different to your goddesses' temples, maybe?
How would it be different? Well, that's a question. Um,
Deep character work here.
yeah,
Deep character work.
a little bit more cheerful, maybe. Nice light.
Yeah, I think if you've ever been in in a German Protestant church that's not completely modern, but like a little bit modern, still made of
Hmm.
stone, and it's got like light windows that are mostly just relatively high up.
Hmm.
And they're colorful, but not too colorful, and not no dark colors. It's that sort of atmosphere. But it's
Yeah.
also the atmosphere that you would have walking into like a barn, like off a very big farm, if there's straw and hay and things. And that's also kind of the smell that's in the air. It's it kind of feels like it's like horse stables might just be around the corner, but they're not. But it feels strangely grounded. And yeah, and I don't think necessarily that there's traditional pews or anything. I think it's just it looks like a like the other warehouses as well, maybe. But I think there might be like straw or hay bales on the ground that you can sit on. And not because they don't have the money, but because that's how they do it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Are there people around?
Um, I don't think you can see any as you're walking in, but you can like faintly hear voices to the back, in a different, maybe in a different room that isn't entirely like carted off, like,
Hmm.
words
Um,
there.
I want to go in that direction.
Okay. Do you do anything or do you just walk up, say hi? Or
Mm, I woke up so that I can see them, and I at least hope that they can't see me yet. I just want to get a lay of the land first.
okay. Okay, are you doing that specifically or generally? Is it a
I don't
perception or
under
an investigation? Is what I'm asking.
I don't know. I don't understand the
Because
question.
if are you looking like extremely specifically? Are you looking to listen in? Are you
Um,
looking to kind of, stealth up and go like, or are you trying to just kind of not necessarily stealth, but not necessarily clunk there and just kind of see if you listen and or see or whatever.
yeah, I meant the latter.
Okay, then it's a perception check. And no stealth roll needed because, you know.
11.
Okay. You can hear it's two women's voices, two
Hmm.
female voices. You can also kind of see the outlines of them. Um, and that one is wearing what you would expect the a priestess's garb to be of some sort, relatively understated, but still. And the other one seems younger and is just wearing normal clothes, basically. With an 11, I don't think you're going to see more.
Yeah, but that's okay. I I want to approach them now.
Okay. They're like deep in discussion, and the younger girl seems to be really like almost near a panic attack. Like she's very like angry, but also panicky, but also like lots of emotions happening there. And so I don't think they notice you walking up.
Okay. Um, I sort of want to hover around first, wishing for them to notice me without interrupting them. But you having said that, I don't think it'll work. Um, I clear my throat politely.
Hmm. Um, I think the older woman would she's by no means old, but she's older than the other one. Um, Looks up and sees you, and I assume you also wear a holy symbol of some sort. So she would probably
Probably, yeah.
it's part of your cleric's like stuff. So I think you probably would have one. Um, so she would look up, see you, recognize the symbol, and I think you can see that when she noticed that there's someone there, got very alert and ready to if necessary, fight. But now she's a little calmer again because she sees that, you know,
Just a cleric.
basically. Um, oh, we didn't expect visitors. Well, we did expect visitors, but not friendly ones. I assume you're friendly, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I have something of an awkward question,
Oh, well, I wish it was
but I
more
don't
awkward
want to
questions
interrupt
these
you.
days. So please, please, awkward questions are nicer than our topics right now.
You see, there's no other way to say this. I was found at the harbor sleeping, and I don't know how I ended up there. And now I'm asking around, hoping to find out where I came from.
Where do you think you came from?
Well, probably from a ship, but
Well,
I was plan. Hmm?
you do follow a deity, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Plenty of reasons for you to not have come from a ship then. You look like you want to say inside check, so say it if you want.
Yes. I had to make an internal autism check first, whether it was me or the character who didn't get it. 15.
Um, she seems to have like, well, so she said something along the lines of, oh, at least she didn't expect a friendly visit by anybody.
Mhm.
Number one. She also is trying to calm down a young girl who's near panic. And she said there's lots of reasons why it doesn't have to be a ship. I think,
Mhm.
she's not lying. She's not, and you wouldn't think she's not, you know, she's not toying with you in any way. She genuinely believes that there's other possibilities. And she genuinely believes that there's good reasons for people to just show up in places they're needed or they need, however.
Okay. I ask her if she thinks I ended up there by some divine interference.
Well, it would give me, well, not to say a lot more faith, but hope, maybe hope. It could be, is what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a ship. Of course, it can be a ship, but also that,
Interesting.
There's,
So you don't know specifics.
how should I? I think the only person who can know specifics, well, would be you.
Mhm. That's tricky.
And I think at that point, the young girl, well, she seems to be the equal thing to a teenager, basically, to a young teenager. Like maybe the thing, she's an elf, a high elf, looks about 14 in human years, I'd say. So I don't know what she is, like 60,
It's probably 80.
60, 70, I don't know, something like that. Um, she just goes, well, have you tried like meditating, silly?
No.
Well,
See, my memory wasn't the best until very recently. And even then, it isn't good.
or maybe try that. And to that, the priestess says, well, as long as we've still got a temple, feel free. Might not be your goddess, but she certainly doesn't discriminate. So, what is your name, by the way?
My name is Lucienne. Lucienne Tal'el'viel. You did not see that look at my last name. Just imagine me standing in front of the priestess and looking at a god.
Wait, she goes, Gaia Azula, and that's Rena. She's an
Lovely.
acolyte here.
Pleasure.
Um, well, did you by any chance see any followers of Gory anywhere on the streets?
None.
Well, I don't know if that's a good or a negative or a bad thing. So we'll see.
Well, do you have a place where I can meditate?
There's a whole church.
Okay. I'm looking for the most private corner. I don't want to sit in the middle of an empty church.
I mean, there isn't anybody there, so it would
Yeah,
be
but
private.
there could
Um,
be someone, especially with their stories of expecting violence or some danger. I don't really want to sit in the middle with the back to the door.
I think there would be hay bales, both like pews in a church to the one side and like also choir pews to the sides to go fully into my religious trauma here. Um, yeah, and I think like on the sidelines in the corner that there is, it's a little more like if you walk in, you won't necessarily immediately be seen. And
I'll
I
take
think
one of those.
there's possibly also a side door somewhere. So, okay. Um, shall we do a short break?
Hmm.
Tiny. Okay. And we're back. Which has no yeah. Anyways, um, you sit down in a corner, Lucienne, and try to meditate. How do you try to meditate?
I
Like,
sit down on a hay, wow.
hey, Bale,
Yes, hay
that
bale.
one.
I promise I study English.
Me too. Duh. I've even
I
got
sit
like
down.
I've even got a conference about like where I have to talk about D&D tomorrow morning, so it's gonna be funny. Anyways, you sit down.
I sit down on a hay bale and rest my back against the wall. Let's just say the wall is there.
Mhm.
And assume a relaxed position. Close my eyes. Breathe deeply. And concentrate on the question at hand,
Which is,
which is what happened to me before I was discovered at the harbor. So basically, my last memory before I woke up in the room above the inn.
okay. Um, hmm. Can you, to immediately start, do a wisdom check?
13.
Okay. Um, then a religion check.
I got it and forgot. Sorry. 20. Not a natural one, but 20.
Dirty 20, okay. And think just for the fun of it, give me an insight as well.
A natural one.
Okay. Um, all right. You stand in a place, and I don't know how that place is going to look. And I feel like a guru saying that. Ridiculous. Anyways, I don't know how the place is going to look. But I think it's a place of safety and comfort for Lucienne. How do you think that's going to look? What is that going to be?
Oh dear. It's rows of books.
Hmm.
I want to say a nice, comfortable room, but there's also natural light.
Hmm. And I think if you look further, like along the lines of the books, um, you'll be able to see behind one or two bookshelves, there's trees.
Yeah,
And I don't know if you would know that you're inside or outside, somewhere.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, and how do you imagine your goddess or god?
Wow. Metaphysics question. Um, I don't imagine a clear metaphysic. I don't
Clear
imagine a clear
physical.
physical form. Well, the first thing that came to mind was sort of a. You're gonna laugh when I say this. Good reason. A sort of a Ghost of Christmas Past figure. So fluctuating, not always the
Yeah.
same.
Kind of also not just fluctuating in the look and in the general stature and perception, but also in gender. So it's not just like the threefold goddess, for example. It's not that the age is fluctuating, but the entirety of their essence is fluctuating. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they would be speaking to you without actually physically speaking and without actual words. But you ask your question, what happened before you woke up, you know? And the answer you would get isn't anything clear. I think it's just a profound sense of confusion on the other end.
Hmm.
I think you might, like, because your insight was terrible, but so yeah, but I think you might think or conclude from that that that's maybe the wrong question. Maybe you should ask a different one. Maybe
And did you
simpler.
send me here? Or did
Okay.
a god send, did someone send me here?
Um, I think the answer you get to that is yes and no. And to the someone, so basically to the someone, yes, because of course. But I think to the you, not necessarily.
Hmm.
That's how you would probably understand that.
Got it.
And you would also get a feeling that kind of conveys, well, be simpler, kind of
Hmm.
why are you, why are you here in general? But it's not telling you that, it's just giving you
That
a
impression.
hint, a hint basically,
Yeah. Then I ask, why am I here?
because you're needed. Um, Also, you did have a 20 in religion, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I think.
you're needed. Another thing that comes after is I need you, and the other gods need you.
Oh, well. I'm a wanted woman.
And basically, there's trouble brewing, is what you also get.
Well, what should I do?
By the way, I'm writing all of this down. So,
Oh, yeah.
um, I think the immediate answer to that question is only you know that. Um, I need to write down the smart things I say because I'm going to forget otherwise. Um, but also, you're going to get um, this is less an impression or a sentence or a knowledge of something. What you see is basically as if it was happening, but you're not in the scene. You don't see like a television screen or something.
Mhm.
It's just you know, it's like a memory basically that's showing up. Um, and in that you can see that the gods are having a bit of a row, one that you would be aware is gory, is the center of that row. He's wearing red and kind of trying to style himself, well, pretty much as a war god, I'd say,
Mhm.
and you'd say probably as well. Um, and you can see that he's trying to do things that the others don't want, but he's also not listening.
Hmm.
And you get the clear impression that your god as is kind of, you know, gesturing, sort of spiritually gesturing towards that, saying, we need help with that.
How should I help the gods? I ask. Or how could I?
And to that you get again, only you know that.
Lovely.
And I think in
Trusty
that
as
point,
ever.
I think at that point you wake up and do give me a wisdom saving throw.
17.
Okay. Yeah, so you're mostly fine. But you don't know if you've just been delirious from all the insanity that's been happening, or you just really had like a vision of your god. Um, you don't have a clue because you rolled in that one. Um, yeah. So you have all of this info, but I don't think you know it as a piece of knowledge. I think you know it could be truth, but you also know that it could be a fabrication of your brain or your mind. Yeah.
So I've got a Pascal's wager of a mission.
Well,
Might save me some sanity.
well, what do you want to do?
Well, first I thank the priestess and the acolyte for giving me this opportunity. And I ask them if right now there's anything they need help with.
Um, I think they probably decline that because there's a lot happening, there's a lot of panic, but I don't think that there's actually anything specific or pressing happening right now. They're just afraid that something is going to happen.
Got it. Yeah. Mm, well, I walk out again.
Okay. Do you have a specific destination?
Yeah, I'm thinking about going to the palace now. I mean, my question has been maybe answered if it wasn't just hallucination, but seeing as I wanted to go there before, I might just do that now.
Okay. I think you do you think you would have informed yourself where the palace is before you left, generally, like before you left the house in the morning, basically.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you would know that it's up the hill. It's the highest point in the city. Um, like a medieval castle should be, bloody hell.
Chances are I would have found it
Yeah,
even without asking.
probably. But the houses are quite high, so you wouldn't necessarily have a clear view.
Mhm.
Um, it's kind of a bit complicated. Um, yeah, so you would, I think you go towards the, you know, even higher, even upper part of town. So you're already in the upper city, but you're trying to go like right up there. That sounded wrong. Um, yeah. Um, Anyways, you're going towards the palace, and I think you can pretty much see the palace and the, you know, it. You can imagine it a little bit like the Louvre in
Mhm.
Paris. Like it's there's like gardens and things around. It's very, but also the bigger houses are around, and it's like it's not just the palace, it's like everything and everyone around the palace is in the same area. But also, like it used to be probably, there is um there is a gate and it's closed.
Are there guards?
Um I think you don't see any.
Is there a bell? Something like
Nope.
that.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I did say you don't see any.
Yeah, I mean, it being a palace, it should be guarded, but right now I was thinking more along the lines of talking to someone to let me in,
Hmm.
but
Do you think you walk up right to the gate immediately, or do you kind of stop a couple of meters before and try and get a lay of the land?
I want to walk past the palace first, as if I was just passing by.
I don't think that's possible.
Okay.
Because
Hmm.
it is, on the highest part and it's bloody huge.
Okay,
So
then.
again, I'm taking my memories from when I was 14 and in Paris with school. Um, when I was like, well, it's just after the Louvre. And a friend of mine said, but where is the Louvre? And I was like, have you looked to the right in 10
Yeah.
minutes? And she was like, wait, that? Basically like that. So you could walk past, I think,
But it would
possibly,
not really be inconspicuous.
but it would be a dedication to do that. Like
Yeah.
it would take time. So it's a big fucking place.
Well, then I want to get a lay of the land first. Watch from a distance.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
6.
Yeah, there's
That's the
nobody
lowest
there.
possible score without a net one.
There's nobody there.
Well,
But since, I'd say you are a magic user.
yeah.
Um, and if you don't see anything, that doesn't mean there isn't anything there. I think what you would do is try and get an idea on, on a magic level. Am I sure there isn't anything there, or
Hmm.
is there just nothing that I can see? So you can either use a magic, like a spell or whatever you have, or something like that, or you can give me an arcana check if you want. But if you have a spell that has a better.
Mm,
No,
I'll do the
no.
Arcana check.
Okay. Because if you had detect magic or something, that might work too. But
No.
nope. Okay. Then Arcana check.
Um, yeah, no, 3.
Okay, I think trying to figure out what the hell's going on, you probably walk towards the gate.
Yeah,
Because what do people do if they can't like figure something out? They move closer because maybe I can figure it out. And give me a stealth check.
8.
Okay, you trip over something and a blaring alarm goes off. And before you know it, there's guards basically surrounding you. And what you've seen as there isn't anything there is a very busy courtyard.
Lovely. Well, there's one way to find someone.
And well, there's a halberd pointed at you from one side. There's
Again,
another halberd pointed at you from another side.
been there.
Um, and when you try to take a step back, which I think any sane person would, there is a dagger touching you in the back.
Lovely.
What do you do?
I say, good morning, if it is a morning. If
I,
not, I
I
don't say
don't
good morning.
I don't think it is morning anymore, but you can feel free to say good morning.
Let's just say I say good morning. Why should I ever start a conversation a normal way? I say good morning. Sorry to have triggered your trap. My name is Lucienne Tal'el'viel, and could you let me in, please?
I think the guy holding the halberd towards you on your right just starts laughing loudly. Um, and the guy to the left kind of just gives him an elbow to the ribs. So, in the hopes that he stops laughing. He doesn't.
That's fair.
Um, but yeah, but you hear a voice from behind you, saying, "Well, it's not morning." And Tal'el'viel,
Exactly, yeah.
any relation to? I think it was Tal'elviel, but I'm not sure. I should make up complicated
Yeah,
names.
it was.
Any relation?
There is indeed.
And you want in here?
If you think it's a bad idea, then rather not.
I think
But
as you're saying that, you get the impression that he doesn't think it's a bad idea. He just thinks you might, that might have been a bad influence on any relation, that relation.
yeah, well,
If you catch the drift.
I do, I do.
Okay.
No, I want in.
Question is if you're let in. Why should we let you in?
I have questions.
So do I.
You see, I'm on a mission, so to say, to find, well, not to find myself, but I was found. And, well, do you want to know the story or not? You might laugh at me if I tell you.
I think there's
I
already
mean,
people
your
laughing at
friend
you.
here already
By the way,
does.
you're talking forwards. This guy's still standing behind you with a knife in your back. Like,
Yeah, and I have no intention of
just
turning as long as there are three blades pointed at me.
I think two at this point because the one guy is laughing too hard.
Yeah. Um, I am prepared to tell you, but you might not believe me. Or you might.
Well, you sound like you don't believe you, so might be a laugh.
Well, I was found at the harbor, and I don't remember how I got there. And now I want to find people who might know,
And why would anybody at the palace know about that?
because I'm a noble.
It just means, well, doesn't actually mean anything, to be honest.
Well, no, but it's hard to know who to ask if you don't know how you ended up somewhere. I sort of say
Uh,
exasperatedly.
I think
Try being in my shoes.
think the guy who isn't laughing in front of you just looks at you and looks at your holy symbol and goes, tried asking your god?
I did, yes. I wasn't planning to tell you because you might not believe me, but I did.
Well,
Look, you might not let me in after this. You might send me away, declare me crazy. But I did ask my God. They answered, and well, I have gotten an answer to the question, or part of the question, but I want to find out more information.
um, hmm. Um, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to persuade them?
Yeah,
Persuasion check, please.
9.
They're just kind of going, I mean, fair enough. Heard crazier things. And the weapons are lowered. If you want to know what I rolled,
Yes.
it was a nat one. So
Good for me.
I was like, well, anything's gonna work then. Um, yeah. And they're lowering the weapons, kind of, you know, stepping back a little. Um, and you know, I think the gate doesn't open it completely in its entirety, but like the side gate is being opened. And the guy who was previously holding a dagger to your back, um, now you can see him, and he's a drow, actually,
Mhm.
which you wouldn't expect a drow here. I mean, dark elves don't necessarily venture outside so much. So, um, and he basically just looks battle ready. He looks like, got gray hair, um, several scars across his face. Um, Everybody else is wearing like parade uniforms, like very colorful stuff. He's wearing black.
Hmm.
Like, it's very much like, I'm not doing this shit. Um, and the others, the parade uniforms are mostly in. I did write something down about that. Um, are mostly blue, like a blue ground, and you can see that they have a crest on their clothes of a white swan on a blue ground, which you would at this point know is simply the crest of this place, of the royal house here. Yeah, of the Benevola. Yeah. And they'll just kind of escort you in.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, I follow. I mean, this is what I wanted.
Okay. Okay. This is just more a thing for you because I haven't planned anything from this point at all. We could go on. I don't know what my brain is going to do with it. But if you already have the feeling that, tired, we could also continue another time.
Let's do that. This is a natural break.
Okay, good. Then I can figure out how that court is working after I've built a different one a week ago. Like, okay, yeah. Do you want to know what? Because I told you before we started in private, I told you I have 6 words planned. I did have 6 words planned exactly, and that was Priestess Gaia Arzula of Moti, who's a wood elf. That was all. I had nothing else. Like nothing.
Well then.
I had some of the plans from last time, and I knew that there should be kind of a vision of your goddess, but no fucking clue.
I like the
Um,
continuing plot of me having trouble with guards.
it's not just you, to be incredibly honest. I'm just making very troublesome guards out of some reason. I mean the other group, the other guys have less trouble with guards and more trouble with like royal people, like nobles.
Mhm.
It's hilarious because out of some reason, very obnoxious nobles just kind of jump from my mind. And yeah, so there was a character name that was essentially, by the players just called Mr. Peacock at some point. And at this point, I do have to say, I have noticed that yes, there's sometimes similarities to stuff that's happening in Critical Role, especially campaign 4. But I also have to say that most of the time, that either accidentally happens because someone else says something, does something, whatever, or we've actually filmed that before the new episodes came out. And we filmed that, we've done that, we've played that, and then I'm watching Critical Role and going, oh, they've gone there too? Come on. So yeah, I think it's just what's kind of going on in the brains of everyone right now. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but like Gory and Gory's followers, like who they're modeled on,
Um, no.
American Christians, like the
Um,
crazy ones.
The evangelicals.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's basically the taking a god that isn't a god of war in any way, shape, or form and saying, yes, but everything else is wrong and we're going to kill you now. Um, and that's because God, except in this case, there is a God that's saying those things. And in the reality kind, it's probably just people being insane. But
Yeah. Fun times.
yay. But yeah, so I think
But
that might
hey,
also be a
I've
reason.
I've talked to my God, and they were not at all unclear about what they wanted.
That was actually relatively clear.
Yeah, I mean that was
Incredibly.
only half sarcastically meant. So
Yeah. But I was kind of thinking about, how am I bloody well gonna do like a seance with a god? Like, how am I gonna like how can I possibly portray the way that a god is speaking? And then in the second that I was going there, I was like, well, actually, to be honest, I don't think a god would be speaking.
mm,
I think I'm just gonna go with the old like Bible thing that if God's speaking, your ears explode or your head explodes or whatever. So, yay. I don't know if that's canon, but it's just, you know, they don't necessarily speak in words because there's more levels to things.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, to then tease things, because this is going to be watched on the 29th. The next episode of A Sheep Staring at Me playing D&D with the regular group is going to be in a couple of days, which means in the new year on the 1st. That is going to be out 1st of January 2026. Yeah, it feels surreal that that's a
Happy
real
New Year.
year. Yeah. As I already said in the other session, because it wasn't planned that we're going to do this today. Um, Guten Rutsch, rutscht nicht aus. Just being a very German weirdo. Um, and yeah, is there any other questions that you have or things that you've noticed or I don't know.
None so far.
Okay,
Just trying to find out
grand.
my God's mission, simple things of life.
Well, okay, and now I'm gonna have to think and plan a presentation. Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye
Until
bye.
later.